Run it back.
Hi. This is Teacher Kabara's English language channel. Today's lesson is about WH questions. You know more about WH questions and the purposes of using these WH question words. So, these words are important for interview questions, one. Asking interview questions, one. And second, we can use these WH questions for everyday activities, second. The third one, we can also use these WH questions to improve our speaking skills. And the fourth one, we can just use these WH questions for English grammar. So, the purposes of these WH questions are various. So we can just use in different ways. So the first one is what. So we can just use for what, asking for things. So I think the first one is, what is that? What do you want to eat? What's your opinion? The response or the answer for these questions are name of things. Name of things. ምን ለማለት ነው? የእነዚህ WH questions ለተለያየ ፐርፐዝ እንጠቀምባቸዋለን። አንደኛ ለቃለ መጠይቅ እንጠቀምባቸዋለን። ሁለተኛ በየቀኑ የምንገልጸውን ሐሳብ የምንገልጽባቸው ቋንቋዎች WH question words ናቸው። ሶስተኛ for improving our speaking ለምሳሌ የእንግሊዘኛ ንግግር ችሎታችንን ለማሻሻል በአብዛኛው እነዚህን WH questionዎችን እየጠየቅን መልስ እየሰጠን ቋንቋችንን ማዳበር እንችላለን። አራተኛውና ዋናው ግራመር የሰዋሰው አጠቃቀምን እነዚህን እየተጠቀም ቋንቋውን ማዳበር እንችላለን። ስለዚህ ፐርፐሳቸው ሰፊ ነው። ወደ መጀመሪያው ፓርት ስመጣ ዋት ነው። ዋት ስንጠቀም ለነገሮች ነው። የነገሮችን ስም ለማወቅ ነው ዋት የምንጠቀምበት። ስለዚህ የምናገኘው መልስ የነገሮች መልስ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ሶ ሌላ ፐርፐዝ የለውም ዋት ማለት። and the other who for person ነው። person for subjective case. So who is your English teacher? My English teacher is Mr. Thomas. Who is your brother? My brother is Nahom. So if you are talking about person for subjective case, we use the question word who. Who wants us to play? Who is he? Who is that man? So that man is Mr. John, Mr. Joseph, you can say. So, and the other one, which for alternatives and choices. If there are choices and alternatives, we can just use for which. አማራጭ ነገሮች ካሉ እነዛን አማራጭ ነገሮች የትኛውን እንደምንፈልግ መግለጽ ካስፈለገን whichን እንጠቀማለን። ስለዚህ የትኛው ማለት ነው which ማለት። So የትኛው ስንል there are choices here. And these are, which book is mine? This one or that one? This one is mine. And which car do you like best? The modern one. The modern one I like, or my first choice is the modern one. And the other one, we can just sometimes use which for person if the choice is restricted. አንዳንድ ጊዜ whichን ስንጠቀም alternative ወይ choice ይሆናል ሰዎች ላይ መጠቀም እንችላለን። ነገር ግን አማራጫችን የተወሰኑ ገደብ ያላቸው ከሆኑ መጠቀም እንችላለን which። ለምሳሌ which athlete do you like best? Athletes, a number of athletes is limited, so we can use which. I like Mr. X. Which player do you like? I like Messi. You can just use. So which for person if the choice is restricted or limited. And the other one, when for time. when ስንጠቀም ደግሞ ጊዜን ማወቅ ስንፈልግ when እንጠቀማለን። መቼ የሚል ትርጉም ነው የሚሰጠን። when is your birthday? So my birthday is on July 21st. My birthday is September 22nd. You can. When do you watch TV? I watch TV in the evening. I watch TV at 12:30. When do you come back from school? I come back from school at 11:10. When do you eat your breakfast? I always eat my breakfast at 2:30 in the morning. So all this refers about time. So the underlined refers, the underlined shows about the time whenever you use WH question, especially when. እነዚህ እንጠቀማለን። ታይምን ነው ጊዜን ነው ድርጊቱ የተከናወነበትን ጊዜ መግለጽ ሲያስፈልገን when እንጠቀማለን። the other one why ለምን ማለት ነው። ምክንያቱን ማወቅ ስንፈልግ when እንጠቀማለን። reason እንለዋለን። why do you come here? why do you go to school? why do you just go in the evening? why do you go to the stadium? why do you do this? All these questions need reason. So this is why. And the other where, for place. where ስንል የት ማለት ነው። የት ስንል ኢንዲኬት የሚያደርግልን ቦታን ነው። ድርጊቱ የተፈጸመበትን፣ የሆነ ነገር የተቀመጠበትን፣ የሆነ ነገር የሰራበትን፣ የሆነ ነገር አንተ የምትሰራበትን where. So placeን ኢንዲኬት ያደርጋል። where do you live now? I live in ከበሌ 5. I live in ቦሌ ሰብሲቲ ከበሌ 08 house number 618. And where do you park your lorry? I park my lorry in Mr. X garage. Mr. X, or in my compound. I park my lorry in my compound. You can just use. Where do you put your bag? I put my bag on my shelf. On my shelf. This is a place where you situated your bag. So whenever you use the statement or the question, it is a place, nothing else. Yeah. the other how እንዴት ማለት ነው። እንዴት ስንል ደግሞ ድርጊቱ የተፈጸመበትን ፕሮሰስ፣ ሂደት፣ መንገድ፣ ቴክኒኩን የሚፈልግ ነው። how ስንል እንዴት ስንል በዚህ መንገድ በዚህ ድርጊት ይሄን በመጠቀም ይሄን በመስራት ብለን መልስ ልንሰጥ እንችላለን። let's say here how do you feel today? and I feel today in this way. yeah. or how do you improve your language? or how do you improve your English? I improve my English by practicing. I improve my English by listening BBC English news. I improve my English by reading fictions and literature. So this response just shows about how you improve the process, the method, and the way. So we can just use how on this way. በዚህ መልክ howን መጠቀም እንችላለን። and the other whose ስንል የማን ለማለት ነው። possession ነው የሚያሳየን፣ belonging ነው የሚያሳየን፣ owners ነው የሚያሳየን፣ proprietorship ንብረትነትን የማንነትን የምንጠይቅበት question word ነው። whose ማለት የማን። yes. whose book is this? it's mine. whose house is this? it is my friend's. or whose mobile is this? it is Abel's. right? so this response shows about possession, or that property belongs to a person. So the right question word here is whose it mean. The right question word is whose. ስለዚህ ይሄንን እንጠቀማለን። the other question word is whom, and whom for person objective case ነው። whom ስንጠቀም ፐርሰን ነው ማወቅ የሚያስችለን፣ ነገር ግን ፐርሰኑ ኦብጀክቲቭ ኬዝ ነው። ለምሳሌ I talked to Mr. Thomas. I talked Mr. Thomas yesterday. So my emphasis is Mr. Thomas. To whom you talk? Whom did you talk? Whom did you talk? Whom did you talk? I talk Mr. Thomas. So the answer is Mr. Thomas. So Mr. Thomas is found object of the sentence. ማንን ነው ትናንት አውርተህ የነበረው? ሚስተር ቶማስን ነው ያወራሁት። whom did you talk? ማንን አወራህ? ሚስተር ቶማስ ነው ያወራው። ስለዚህ ፐርሰንን ኢንዲኬት ያደርግልናል። ነገር ግን ፐርሰን ኦብጀክቲቭ ኬዝ ላይ ሲሆን ነው ሁምን የምንጠቀመው። ከሁ ይለያል። ሁና ሁም ተመሳሳይነታቸው ፐርሰን ነው ሲግኒፋይ የሚያደርጉት። ሁ ስንጠቀም ሰብጀክቲቭ ኬዝ ነው፣ ወይራስ ሁም ስንጠቀም ደግሞ ኦብጀክቲቭ ኬዝ እንጠቀምበታለን። ላይክ ዚስ ማለት ነው። yes to whom Bobby is speaking? Bobby is speaking Mr. John. Bobby is speaking Mr. John. So Mr. John answers the question whom. So this is the use of whom. The other, how much and how many. We use how much for uncountable nouns and how many for countable nouns. Yeah. How much መጠቀም የሚያስችለን የምንጠይቀው ጉዳይ uncountable nouns ሲሆን, you know what uncountable means? ሊቆጠር የማይችል ስም ሲሆን፣ ሊቆጠር የማይችል ስም. So we can just use how much. ምን ያክል ነው? ምን ያክል ስንል in amount ነው, in quantity, in amount, not in number. በቁጥር አይደለም በመጠን መግለጽ ያስፈልጋል። how much እንጠቀማለን it means how much do you buy? How much is the price of this kilo of rice? How much is this? So you can just use how much. How much for countable noun is wrong. How much friends do you have? How much just flowers? No, completely wrong. So we cannot use how much for countable nouns. እሱ ላይ ነው መጠቀም ቢገባን። how much ስንል ምን ያክል ነው በመጠን የምንገልጸው። ነገር ግን መጠኑ በቁጥር ሳይሆን በመጠን ብቻ ሊቆጠሩ የማይችሉ ነገሮችን የምንገልጽበት ነው። how much do you eat bread? I eat a loaf of bread, 2 loaves of bread. Yeah, we can say. When you say how many for countable nouns, how many students are there in your class? look students ስንል ሊቆጠሩ የሚችሉ ናቸው። ክፍል ውስጥ ምን ያክል ተማሪዎች አሉ? how many just literature books do you have in your shelf? ምን ያክል የስነ ጽሁፍ መጽሐፎች ሼልፍ ላይ አሉ? I have no more than 10 literature books in my shelf. How many rose flowers in your bedroom? I have 2 rose flowers in my bedroom. How many friends do you have in your school? I have only 2 friends in my school. Yeah, so the response is countable. So how much and how many, they are different and we can just use in different ways. Yeah, how often and how long and what time. How often means just time of action. Thing is how much things happen. How often ስንል ምን ጊዜ ነገር ምን ያክል ነገሮች እንደተሰሩ ምን ያክል ድርጊቱ እንደተከናወነ የምንገልጽበት ነው። ምን ያክል how often ስንል ምን ያክል መጠንን ነው። በአብዛኛው how often ስንል adverb of frequency ተጠቅመን ነው የምንመልሰው። always, usually, often, sometimes, occasionally, normally, rarely, seldom, never. We can just use to give a response using this adverbs of frequency if the question is how often. How often do you help your mom? I sometimes help my mom. How often do you watch TV? I usually watch TV in the evening. How often do you go to church? I sometimes go to church in the evening. Or how often do you eat fish? Yeah, I rarely eat fish. How often do you smoke cigarettes? I never smoke cigarettes. So we can just use how often in this context. Yeah. And the other, how long, length of time it is. Yeah. How long have you been living here? How long does the program last? ታይም ነው የጊዜ ርዝማኔውን ነው የሚጠይቀን። how long ስንጠቀም ምን ያክል ትኖራለህ? ለምሳሌ how long have you been living here ስንል ምን ያክል እዚህ ትቆያለህ ነው። have been living here for 2 weeks 2 ሳምንት እዚህ እቆያለሁ ነው። how long does the program last? በምን ያክል ፕሮግራሙ በመቼ ያልቃል ይጨርሳል ነው። the program will last ብለን መልስ ልንሰጥ እንችላለን። how long ርዝማኔን ለማወቅ ስንፈልግ እንደዚህ እንጠቀምበታለን። what time it means time ነው ኢንዲኬት የሚያደርግልን ከወይን ይለያል። ግን ይሄ at what time do you get up? At what time do you get up? I get up at 2:30 in the morning. At what time? Yes, what time it means. What time is it? What time is it? It is 3 o'clock, it is 5 o'clock. So what time is also a kind of WH question. So we can just use what time for asking time. So there is a little bit difference when we use the question word when. And the other, where from? Yeah. Now, what sort of where from? These are also WH question words. Yeah, WH question words ናቸው። እነዚህም ዲግሪያቸው ግን እንዴት ናቸው? እንዴት እንጠቀምባቸዋለን? Let me give you some examples. What kind of ስንል to identify kinds ነው። What kind of ስንል አይነቱን ለመለየት ስንፈልግ what kinds of book do you like? What kinds of book do you like? Yes, የትኛውን የመጽሐፍ አይነት በአብዛኛው ትወዳለህ ነው እየጠየቁ። What kinds of book do you like? Or what kinds of book do you read more? I like short stories. የትኛውን እፈልጋለሁ? እነዚህ አጫጭር ታሪኮችን አጫጭር ልቦለዶችን ማንበብ እፈልጋለሁ። it means so what kind of books do you like to read? What kinds of food do you like to eat in the morning? What kinds of clothes do you like to wear during summer? All these are possible ways of asking what kinds of የትኛውን አይነት ምርጫ። What sort of to identify the sort ማለት ነው። And what sort of program do you watch on TV? Sort of what kind of program do you watch on TV ማለት ነው። What sort of የትኛውን የፕሮግራም አይነት ነው በቴሌቪዥን የምትከታተለው? So I like to watch the romance film, the adventure film. You can just use. And the other one, who we is. Who we is. These are compound phrase words. Who we is. This is the preposition, so you can just use who is me. So who do you go with? Who is me? ከማን ጋር ነው የሚለውን ነገር ከማን ጋር ነው የሄድከው ከማን ጋር ነው የሰራው ከማን ጋር ነው ይሄን ጉዳይ እየፈጸምኩ የሚለውን ጥያቄ ሊመልስልን የሚችል question word ነው ይሄ Who do you go with? I go with my younger sister. I go with my father. I go with my school friend. Who do you practice golf with? I practice golf with my neighbor. I practice golf with my father. Who do you live with? I live with my parents. It means ከማን ጋር ነው የምትጫወተው ከማን ጋር ነው የምትኖረው ከማን ጋር ነው እንዲህ የምታደርገው ስንል ይሄን question word እንጠቀማለን መልሳችን አሁን በተነጋገርነው መሰረት ነው Who about? Yes, possible ነው These are also possible Who about? Who plus the preposition about Who plus the preposition for What plus the preposition about What plus the preposition at All these are included under WH question words እነዚህ ያየናቸው የተለያዩ ፕሪፖዚሽኖችን አስከትለው ይሄዳሉ ግሩፓቸው WH question words ነው የምንመድባቸው አጠቃቀማችን ልክ እንደዛው የሚፈልጉት ነገር አለ ከሲንግል question word ጋር ተመሳሳይ መልስ አይደለም ከነዚህ የምትጠብቀው ለምሳሌ who are they talking about Who are they talking about It means so who are they talking about We are talking about Yes እነማን ናቸው የሚያወሩት ነው ስለዛ ጉዳይ የሚያወሩት እነማን ናቸው What are they talking about They are talking the students are talking about their lesson The friends are talking about and the brothers the families are talking about You can just use Who for Who is this letter for Who for ለማን ማለት ነው ለማን ማለት ነው Who for Who is this letter for ይህ ደብዳቤ ለማን ነው This letter is for my friend This letter is for my father This letter is for my brother who is in Japan Yeah and the other What about ስለምን ጉዳይ ነው የሚለን What are you talking about What about ስለምን ጉዳይ ስለምን ይዘት ነው የምታወራው ስለምን ጉዳይ ነው የምናየው So what are you talking about I am talking about my exam I am talking about my work I am talking about my problem I am talking about my daughter's problem So what about me ስለምን ጉዳይ So what are they looking at ምንድን ለማለት what are ስትል Yeah Yes what are they looking at They are looking at the sportmen They are looking at the soldiers They are looking at the gamblers So all these are the different WH question words So we can just use these WH question words in different ways So we can just use and practice and they help us to improve our language Yes, please subscribe my channel.